Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the early pop-up live. I usually go live at 2 p.m. Eastern. However, I have my Azure pickup today at 2:30, and that is 45 minutes away. So that's just not going to work for me. Good morning, Ashley. Thank you so much for coming in. So I just wasn't going to go live at all today. I usually do 2 o'clock because that's when my boys are sleeping, and that just is what kind of works for me. But now I have to keep them up during their nap so that we can go get our Azure order. And I didn't really want to do it while the house was all hustle and bustle, but I just put my youngest down for a nap, so it's fairly quiet in here. And I have been meaning to get my seeds. I cold stratified my own seeds. Oh, good morning. Oh, yeah? It was so easy, Ashley. I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I finally started. Starting is like half the battle, right? Good morning, Homestead Love. Thank you so much for coming in. But we've been getting so much rain lately. Well, hello, Stud Muffin. My son who loves to walk around with his shirt open. I've never grown my own milkweed. You have to cold stratify the milkweed too? I need to grow so many things, you guys. There is nothing on this property at all except for trees that are not fruit or nut producing, and grass. So I have so many things I have to plant. I know. I'm totally going to plant milkweed. I just have never grown it like from a seed or anything like that. And yes, seeds. I cold stratified my own seeds. I did some Bartlett pears, and I did some Gala apples. And then this one just says peach and apple. I don't know what kinds these varieties are. But I started these seeds somewhere in the middle of my second move. So things were a little chaotic. So I kind of just did what I could when I could. So at least I know that these are apple and a peach. And if you're not familiar with cold stratifying seeds, some seeds need a certain amount of days. Good morning, Rebecca. Thank you so much for coming in. Oopsies. Are you trying to wave to everybody? No? Okay. You don't have to. Certain seeds need to have so many days below like 34 degrees or 32 degrees or something along those lines in order to break their dormancy. Oh, okay. Oops. Ashley, I thought you meant you had to cold stratify your milkweed. You just need to start your milkweed. I gotcha. So like apple seeds, pear seeds, peach seeds, lavender seeds. There's a bunch of them out there, but those are just the ones off the top of my head that I know do need to be cold stratified. So what you do is I put, and this does not look glorious or anything. Like I said, that this happened in between my second move. So I kind of forgot about it, and it was transported in a cooler and then shoved in the back of my refrigerator when I moved in here. And now it's been like overrun by like leftovers and everything. It's been pushed to the back. I did not do this properly, but the way that you properly do it is you get a piece of, what's the word I'm looking for? Paper towel, and you wet it and you put your seeds in here and you put it in a Ziploc bag and you label it. You put your seeds on a damp paper towel and you close it almost all the way, leaving it a little bit open, and put it in your refrigerator, preferably on top of things so that it doesn't get trampled. And then you leave it there for 6 to 8 weeks. And they will start to sprout. So you can see my Bartlett pears have sprouted very nicely. The rest of that is mold. Yes, it does not look pretty. But you need to keep the paper towel moist, which I do what I say, not as I do. I did not do that. I did not keep it moist, but luckily these pear seedlings look really good. They didn't dry out. However, my Gala seedlings that sprouted, like you can see, I can't see what I'm doing here. You can see that one, I think, is like all dried up. But I have a couple more down here. I think I might be able to salvage. They didn't dry out. And then some of them don't sprout at all. They may or may not sprout at all. So basically what I'm going to do at this point, when I got these out of my refrigerator, the paper towel was completely dry. Let me see. Ooh, look at you. What kinds of varieties did you start? So I just wet the paper towel so that I can actually pull them off of the paper towel without breaking the... Would you like to say something, baby? Okay. Without breaking the seedling. My pears look definitely the best. Hello, Star, or Raven, or I don't know what you want to go by. Thank you so much for coming in. Elderberry, apples, pears, and cherries. Ooh, exciting. These have gone way longer than the 6 to 8 weeks needed, just because it's out of sight, out of mind. Just like the story of my life. And I'm happy just to have any seedlings in here at all. I'm going to start with my pear because they look the best. And I'm just going to remove this paper towel from in here.
I'm going to take them out.
I am going to take them out and I'm going to plant them in there. That's right. Hey, Cole, what's tomorrow?
I know.
What's tomorrow, baby?
School.
Is tomorrow your birthday?
Yep.
Yeah. He's so funny. Oh, good morning, Chuck. Hey, you know what, Chuck? This brings me back. The first time I ever talked to you, my very first live, I was doing this exact same thing. So, hey. What's going on? All dwarf varieties. Very cool. So, wow, would you look at this, man? We got some nice little sprouts. Ooh, can you see that? All right.
What is this?
Gentle. Don't touch, baby. Those are seeds, honey. Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. We're going to plant that in there and hope that it grows into a pear tree. These are not going to be dwarf. So these are going to grow. Look at this one. I'm not good at this whole thing. There we go. This one's really long. Pear trees can grow very, very tall, like 20 feet or so. And these are just sprouted from store-bought.
And there are worms in there.
There's no ants or worms in here, baby. We have a lot of ants. Ant piles in our yard.
What about that one?
I'm gonna plant that one in a second. So we have a lot of fire ants here. That's a great memory. I barely remember yesterday. It was a monumental event for me, Chuck. I'm glad I made such an impression on you that you remember it. Just kidding. Pedroza Travel. Hello. Did I say that right? Oh, they said happy birthday. To you. Yeah, because it's your birthday tomorrow. It's your golden birthday tomorrow. That means you turn 3 on the 3rd. That only happens one time in your life. So it's a special birthday. More special than any other birthday, right?
Yeah.
It's the most special birthday for you yet, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And did Gigi-ma come down and celebrate you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gigi-ma and Joe came and celebrated you. And we had lots of fun this weekend. And then label it. You guys, I'm the worst at labeling.
Yep.
Label. So that was the Bartlett.
I'll do this one.
All right, we'll put that little guy there. Yeah, fire ants are not so cool. When we actually came to look at this house before we bought it, we came in August, I think, and we were checking out the pond, and my oldest hunter he learned what fire ants were firsthand. He put his foot right into a fire ant hill. We weren't really paying attention. And then all of a sudden he started screaming. And like, I thought he got he stepped into a hole or something. Cause he didn't like pick up his foot, like he had stubbed it or anything. I had no idea what was happening at first, but he just starts screaming and like, it's like his foot froze. And my dad came up and picked him up and his whole leg was like covered in fire ants. So we were like rubbing it off. Oh, that poor baby. So then he got a little like PTSD from it. So every anthill that he saw, he like wouldn't go anywhere near it. When we told him we were buying this house, he cried because we were like, do you remember that house? He's like, no. I was like, the fire ant house. And he's like, no. He's over it now, but they are very. The fire ants bit him. You remember? Yeah, poor baby. But we put mommy's calendula on it, and it helped, right? So these gala seeds, I don't know about these ones, guys. They're not looking so happy.
They're not looking so happy.
They're not looking so happy, but hey, you never know until you try, right?
There's another one. Right there.
Hey, don't push on it, baby, right? You gotta be gentle. Gentle.
There's another one.
Yes, there is another one. I'll get it. Don't worry. You had a golden birthday last year.
If I had a golden birthday last year.
Because my age is the same as the year I was born.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Well, happy belated golden birthday from last year.
Thank you, Mommy.
You're so cute, baby. So yeah, I'm still gonna plant these Gala seeds. I appreciate you guys all for coming in today. I saw that we had some other people doing some lives right now. Had some great channels doing lives. I think Woman Outdoors is going live now. And Back to Basics Homestead is going live right now also. So I really appreciate you guys for coming in. Now that I told you who's going live, you might all jump ship and go hang out with them because they probably have a lot more folks in their lives. They might be a little bit more entertaining, but I thought this might be fun, and I have to do this anyway. So I thought it might be fun just to show you guys because I've talked about that I had these before, and it seemed like some other people were interested in trying it or doing it. Oh, these Gala seeds do not look good. Live, little guys, live. I also have an order from Stark coming in. So I have bare root trees that are coming, but I figured every little tree that I can make is just, adding to my orchard and also learning, right? I mean,
why are you touching the seeds?
Well, I have to touch them to plant them, honey. Right?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just trying to increase my chances of lots of big, beautiful trees. The more, the merrier, I say. Should I go dig that one out, Cole?
Yep.
The one that's at the bottom?
Mm-hmm. It's like there. I see it. I see it.
Well, glad to hear it. Hey, why don't you go get your drink? Sounds like you could use a drink, huh?
Well, it's empty.
Oh my goodness, we need to fix that then, don't we?
Yep.
Yep.
It's so empty.
Oh goodness. All right. Well, here's to hoping with those Galas. They're a little rough. You want some of Mommy's drink right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead. It's right here. Two hands. Don't spill. It's a big one. Can you do it? All right. I have reused this tag so many times. It's like not even funny.
What about that one?
I got all the seeds from this one. Right? Did I get them all?
Uh-huh.
All right, cool. All right, so that's 2 of the 3.
There's one more.
There was one more. Don't think like that.
Hey, Mommy.
You are 10 years older than me. I have a lot of friends that were born in the late 70s.
Am I this year?
You will be that many years old tomorrow.
Am I this many?
Hey, Venkat, thank you so much for showing up.
Am I these ones?
Yes, Rebecca, I believe you do need to cold stratify peach seeds. I cold stratified them. Cold stratified the one that I have.
No, we're not happy.
These are not happy?
Nope.
Do you say that because there's nothing growing off of them?
Nope.
My peach seed, I only have one. And you guys, getting a peach seed out of like the peach pit is like a small feat.
What about this? Did this go in there?
It will, yes. So in the middle of the peach, you have the peach pit. You can't plant that peach pit. You have to break the pit open. Mike's grandma actually just passed away last year, and she was 97. People are living older these days.
No.
Yes, baby.
I just got a sip of this water.
Correct. That is correct. But I'm not putting them in the freezer. I'm putting them in the fridge. It's breaking their dormancy. So you put them in a wet paper towel, put them in a sandwich bag. Don't seal the sandwich bag all the way, and then it breaks their dormancy. And you put them in for 6 to 8 weeks. So same principle. And here you go. There's your answer. All trees, bushes, and vines. Now, lavender also needs to be cold stratified, and I don't know where that falls in the. It's not a. I guess maybe that's a bush. Yeah, it's a lavender bush, right? Yeah. Really? I've never heard anything bad about Stark Brothers. I'm really surprised to hear that, Ashley. I've never personally received an order from Stark. But I've heard really good things about them, so I got a pretty hefty order from them. So I hope that I'm really happy with it. But I was talking about the peach seed, so I had to break open that pit to get this little seed that was inside and not damage this itty bitty seed. And the pit is extremely tough. I tried a chisel. I tried a knife. I tried a screwdriver to like try to pry it up because I was able to like chip a little corner of the pit to get in between it. And I was trying to get in there with a screwdriver to like pry the pit open. And I was living with my dad at the time, and I had him helping me. At one time, it like shot out of pliers and shot across the room like a bullet. So this is one of the seeds that did not actually sprout. But guys, we're gonna give it a shot and plant it.
Is it in there?
It's in there. Do you see it anymore?
No.
Nope.
Gone.
Well, you got some good genes then. Maybe you will make it to 100. Maybe you'll see those 70s again. Yeah. So I honestly can't remember how I got it open. Like I said, I used a chisel, I used a screwdriver, I tried to use a knife, I used pliers, but I was afraid to crush the seed. as gingerly as possible without damaging the seed is all I can recommend. I did have to have my dad help me, maybe have your brother help you, Rebecca. Who was not easy. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Hey,
Why were you confused? That's very true. That is very true. Like, I love reading reviews of things, but I always follow them with a grain of salt. Because there are so many judgmental people. Everybody's got their opinion. Everyone's an expert. I by no means an expert. This is all my first go, or I've done this before. Like I was mentioning with Chuck, my first live was February of last year, and I was doing the same thing. And I did sprout them, but I also had a newborn baby, and they said ended up succumbing to my neglect. 2 hands, please. And they died. So I have done this before with success, growing the plant, maintaining the plant, not so much of a success. And I did it last year, hoping to have little trees to plant on this now property that we have. I was trying to do it all ahead of time, and that's just, things happen. That's cute, Grubby. That might work. To soften it up, that might work. Maybe try that, Rebecca. I did not try that. Yes, they are. Yes, when people are happy, they usually don't post anything. I try to do that as much as possible, like post like a good review, because I feel like so many reviews are negative. You only see, people are all too willing to post something negative and do the work when something is negative. But if it's positive, they just don't care. So I'm always pretty... And plus, when you can always tell in most reviews, like when people are like, what's a legitimate, like, oh yeah, that's a real concern.
That one?
I'm gonna get it, baby. Should I get it right now? Okay. No Man Left Behind, right? A lot of times you can tell, like, oh, this person just wants to gripe.
There's the last one.
There's one last one. Or when it's like a legitimate, oh, thanks. That's a, there are some negative reviews that you're like, ooh, that's good to know. I'm glad that person put that. So there's a little bit. There's one more. Where? Oh, the tag. Yes.
This one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, Devin? Oh, careful, baby. Don't knock this over. It's full of water. Ooh. Still working on my hydration, folks. See, I haven't gotten very far today. Ooh, go this way. It's not going well. Oh, goodness. What did I just do there? I pressed something. There we go. I'm back. I pressed something on my computer and popped up a whole bunch of stuff. Yes, try soaking the peach seeds. That's a great suggestion. Me too. I'm usually, if it's really bad, like I'm usually just so upset, I just move on. He sure is. I was kind of expecting him to do the opposite and distract me. Ooh, that's a great deal. I do believe that they do have free shipping over a certain dollar amount. I can't remember what it is though. You know, they're oh, this is moving fast. Okay. Don't we all? Hydration is so important. Yes. And that's one of my personal goals for 2023 is to do better with my hydration. So I got this metered thing to like help remind me, and hasn't been going so well, but I'm trying to pay attention. So we're going to write apple on this because I didn't write the variety. And then we got the one lonely peach seed. Another thing that I didn't know so much, I don't know tons about fruit trees, growing nut trees, anything of that sort. So Stark is really, really good at giving you like planting directions, companion planting, all like a gala apple.
Look, Mom,
They don't only just need a oh my god, T-Rex is eating your jammy shirt. They don't only just need a different variety apple plant, but they needed specific other apple varieties. So I think I got a gala. I know I got a Honeycrisp, and I did not get a gala. But I did look up the companions for a gala, knowing that I was trying to grow these seeds. And I got whatever Stark's brand of a Golden Delicious because it was a cross-pollinator of, I got a Bartlett pear as well. And it cross-pollinated my Bartlett pear and my Honeycrisp apple. It was like their golden, it's whatever their version of a Golden Delicious is. But I also found out that a crab apple is a very unique pollinator because it cross-pollinates all of the fruit trees. So I was always raised under the thinking that crabapple trees were not very beneficial, or they were more of like for the birds, or they would always get overrun with raccoons and things like that. I didn't know anyone that would do anything with crabapple trees except for complain about them because lots and lots of wildlife would come and ravage them and leave messes in their yards and things like that.
Seeds?
I am done with the seeds. I planted them all. Are you happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But a crabapple tree is actually like the one thing that you want in your orchard because it will help cross-pollinate like all of your fruits. So with that one tree, you could get a lot of other benefits to your other trees. And the more cross-pollination, the better. Let me see here. Yeah. Ooh, chestnut trees. I want to plant chestnuts, but I can't find them anywhere. So I have this local garden center to me, and I have yet to go in there out of respect for our bank account. When we first moved here and we drove down our highway, it's right on like the main highway, or country highway, I should say. And we saw this big garden center, and Mike looks at it and he's like, oh God, that place is going to be the death of me. And we moved in October, so I didn't like really have a whole lot of time to plant anything. I planted garlic and onions, and that was like it. But I can't wait to go there because I want to see like what a local farm stand or farm nursery would offer me. And I'm hoping that they have more nut trees available. All I was able to get from Stark Brothers was an almond tree. And with almond trees, I also like Fuji too. I did not get a Fuji tree. Stark didn't have that available. And with almonds, in order to get almonds, you have to have 2 almond trees and they have to be different. And all Stark had was one variety available. So I got the one variety that was available. So I'm really hoping that I can find some stuff at this local place. Are you talking about the trees in general or the seeds that I just started? Because I suck at watering. So I got in-ground irrigation system like 2 Christmases ago. So I am definitely going to use that in my in-ground garden. And I might buy another one for my orchard because you guys, trees are expensive. And we have water spigots fairly close to my garden and where I'm going to put my orchard. And I mean, I need the help and the reminding and all the bells and whistles and reminders to go off because I'm not good at watering. And I mean, I've never tried it yet. But I always thought the crab apples were bitter and not tasting good. So if I'm hoping to grow a crabapple tree and then I want to try like all the things because I don't know anyone that makes them, but I'm sure people down here do and they'll probably sell them. Need a ton of water. Irrigation systems are also very expensive. Oh, do you have one of those backyard irrigation things where they like open them? They're like run by the city and they open them periodically. Those are really cool. Yeah, I had never heard of it either. You're setting it up too, huh? I've never set up an irrigation system. So that's going to be, I got mine from Haas Tools. So I'm hoping I do it right. There's so much to do, to know all the other things. If anyone that is, it seems like you guys are a lot much more knowledgeable about these things than me. If anyone would like to come up and share in this conversation, I would love to have you join me. So my thinking to help me also with irrigation for my orchard is I'm growing it on my hillside. And so I'm going to try to create like I'm sure a lot of you guys also watch Roots and Refuge, the same kind of thing that they did. And they built like a swell in front, like higher up the hill to capture rainwater as it comes down the hill so that it slowly then, as like the water's coming down the hill, it gets trapped in this swell and backs up, and then that helps irrigate your trees. So I want to do that too. I'm sure it can. Yeah. Apparently we are, I'm new to Tennessee. I'm new to the weather patterns and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm on a mountain. The ridge to my mountain is one property behind me. So it's about 30 acres behind me. Not that far is the edge of the ridge. So I'm like in a microclimate here. That's why I have lots of fog. But we are apparently in our wet season right now. And then talking to my neighbors, they said that we're sopping wet most of from like November to April, maybe. I don't know. I'll see. And then like come June and July, they said it's like a total drought and it doesn't rain at all. So it seems like feast or famine here. So I have been stocking up on water collection devices. I have lots of rain barrels. We just got one of those 250-gallon, those white 250-gallon totes for water. We haven't implemented them yet because we have no gutters on any of our buildings here. So we have to create gutters to retain the water. We don't want to retain the water from our roof because it's an asphalt roof and there's all sorts of chemicals and junk on asphalt, but we still need gutters on our house. And then on our tiny house and our sheds, all three are metal roofs. So I am comfortable with collecting the water from those for plants and animals. I just don't want all the chemicals from the asphalt. Yeah, that's my hope. So, I mean, everything is going to be like a learning curve for sure. But you never know until you try. And this is try number 2 for me on growing my own seeds. These are all store-bought seeds, but are from fruits that are store-bought, but you never know. And the problem that people have, or like the bugaboo that people have about growing from seeds that you get from store-bought fruit, is that seeds are not true to the parent plant. So, I wrote Gala apples and Bartlett pears, but they don't grow true to the parent plant. So I can't really call the fruit that I will be harvesting off of these like a Gala apple or a Bartlett pear. They're just an apple of some sort that could taste like similar to a Gala, or it could take on a whole different strain of whatever a Gala was made out of. All market sold trees are grafted trees. So they take like a Gala tree and they chop off a branch of it and they graft it onto another tree, transferring over those traits to create the true to variety Gala flavor or Bartlett flavor. So I have no idea what these are going to turn out to be, but I'm hoping that they'll be edible. If nothing else, I'll just feed them to my animals. I mean, whatever. Yeah. Is that what those are called? IBC totes? I don't know. Ooh, you're building this roof just for water collection? That's interesting. that you might, like, if something tastes totally, like, I have no, maybe these won't even be edible. I don't know. But like, if I think that, hey, Jamie, thanks so much for coming in. I just did a little pop-up here. We just planted out some of my store-bought seedlings that I sprouted that I kind of basically totally forgot about. And some of them looked pretty ragged, but whatever. But I mean, I would say a lot of well-known apples like a Granny Smith or a Honeycrisp or a Fuji or something like that. Those have pretty distinct flavors. So I think you might be able to. Some of the other, like, there's so many varieties. I don't think I would be able to tell the difference between a Pink Lady or a Jonna Gold, or like when you get, those are also well known, but when I pick one up and eat it, all I know is it tastes like an apple. But like the big name ones, I think you would know the difference. But it's going to be a really long time before I can taste these. Even if these grow up to be plants that I can eventually transplant out, it's going to be 3 years probably before I get anything on here that I can actually eat. So this is a long-term investment that I'm starting today and probably won't get to test out until, I don't know, 2026, 2027. We'll see. Yes. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And might as well use it for double duty, right? That's totally what we need to do that as well. We don't, on this property, we have no garage. We have no carport. We have no barns. I store my stuff in 2 sheds that are maybe, I mean, they're fairly decent sized sheds, but it's still a shed. So you can only fit so much. And I live in a modular home, so there's no storage in here. So all of our like boxes of extra clothes, because my kids are growing, and like holiday decorations, those are basically like, our one shed is completely full of boxes. And then our other shed is doubling for my seed starting shed, Mike's tools and like his shop. And then like all my gardening supplies, all the kids like outdoor toys, like wagons and stuff like that. So I have like literally nothing. Hey, Dave, thanks so much for coming in. I have like nothing to put. We don't even have a tractor or a lawnmower. We have a push lawnmower, but I have 26 acres, you guys. Like, we cannot push lawn mow 26 acres. And like our end goal for this land is, hey, Teresa, thank you so much for coming in. Is to take up the whole front yard with a garden. So I won't need to worry about mowing that. My hill will become my orchard. And then I have some trees in my back acreage. I do have some woods covering up some acreage, but I still have a lot of grass that we need to cut. So we need to get a zero turn, and I have nowhere to store the zero turn. So we have to construct something. I have more animals coming that I need to get feed for and have a place that is covered to store large amounts of feed, because I will go broke if I'm buying like 50 feed all the time. I would rather just buy like a half ton or a ton of feed to save as much money as I possibly can. So, Devin, I feel like we are going to be constructing a lot of these, your wallless carport-esque things, because we are definitely feeling that need, and we don't have the things yet, but I feel spring knocking on the door, and we have to make all these things before things really start moving fast, because then we're not going to have any time to do anything. Yes, I totally agree with that. Exactly. I would have to build a barn dominium, Dave. These are all things that's like way down the line. We want to get a pole barn, but yeah, goats would help us. A cow would help us. Pigs would help us, but we have, our place is not fenced. So like all these things we need, but it's all like in due time, because we got to put up fences. So my number one priority at the moment is to get my garden started. And by getting my garden started, I have to then put up a fence for that garden, because we have so many deer. They would completely decimate anything that I put out. So that's a good and bad thing, because it really would irk Mike to like no end, because that man sat in our woods so many evenings, so many mornings, and didn't see anything during the season. And he sat out, and our season was pretty long. He was doing the archery season and didn't see anything, never got an opportunity to even try. But the day after season closed, our yard was like inundated with deer, and they were not skittish at all. Like, I let my dog out, and she has no interest in chasing deer. She's a big scaredy cat, but deer would totally just devour everything. It's actually from our front porch. We have a nice big backyard, but I think because the ridge is back there, they don't go back there. There's two more houses behind me, and then there's the ridge. So the more ample space with fields and stuff like that, that's all in my front yard. And they always cross between my neighbor's woods and our woods. So they always go across our driveway. So I got to construct a fence around my garden. And then I have to construct a fence around my orchard. And then I think we might be maxed out on expenses for some time. But I have to invest the money in the things that we've already bought. Like, we've already bought more chickens. So we got more electric fencing. And I've already purchased these trees from Stark Brothers. So I have to invest money in protecting my orchard as well. Really? I mean, so we've been talking about planting a deer plot, and we've we're kind of still new to this as well, and I'm like, is it smart to plant this deer crop by my garden or like because I'm putting my fruit and vegetable garden and my orchard and everything in the front yard where all the deer are. And that's where all my sun is. And that's where I want to hang out and where I want to be hanging out with my family and things like that. It's beautiful out there. So that's where I want to be. My concern with planting this deer crop also somewhere like away from my food crop, but still in my front yard. My front yard is like 10 acres. I don't know if that will draw them to, their crop and keep them away from my garden, or that will just draw more deer in. And then they'll be like, ooh, look at this deer crop. This is really good. Yum, 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 yum. And then turn and go, ooh, look at all this. Yum, 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 yum. Like, I don't know. And rabbits would be kept out by my fence. We don't actually have very many rabbits up here because we have lots of coyotes. So that's kind of a help. Really? Okay. I'll definitely try that. Thank you so much for coming by, Teresa. I greatly appreciate you. And I'll have to get a mineral block. I'm all about that. Have a wonderful day. Okay. But I mean, you understand my thinking, right? Like, it just brings them all in. And then they'd be like, well, this is good, but this is good over here too. And then eat all my stuff. But yeah, I'll have to, all right, well, I'll have to tell Mike that you guys are on his side in the deer plot thing, and here's to hoping. And then we'll have to get a mineral block too. I mean, I'm all about, I love watching the deer all year long. I would love to eat the deer during deer season. I just don't want them harming my trees and devouring my garden. That's where I draw the line. That's a hard stop for me. That's where they might meet their end if they start messing with my garden. I can't believe my son has slept this whole time. All right, well, I think I'm going to cut out here, you guys. I did not plan on being on here for an hour, but I had a great time. I will keep you guys. I did wet this soil before I planted in here, but I'm going to water it again, and hopefully we can grow some little saplings here, and we are successful with what we did here today. If not, I'll just try again. I'll just keep trying until I get more. And I have 2 more of these little 4x4 planting trays filled with soil. I'm going to start some lettuce and some spinach, and I'm going to sprout those inside and plant them in. Mike built me 2 really not permanent, cheapy beds, I'll call them. And one of them is planted with my garlic and onions, and then one of them is empty. And I'm going to put up some hoops and put over some mosquito netting or insect netting over the top. And I'm going to grow them in that raised bed. But I'm excited I started this, and thank you guys so much for coming by. You want to say bye-bye?
Bye.
All right, bye guys. It's been fun. I